Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Aussie Farming in the Philippines. Today, I'm going to show you my chainsaw sharpening skills. How poor they are. Let's get into it. Right, there you go, Bob. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. These ones especially for Bob the Builder. He sees the state of my tool room. And as they say, a clean tool room means an unused tool room. So I've got there. So all I've got to do tomorrow, because I only get my power up of a morning, tomorrow is to sort out all the tools which are under here. They're all the hand tools, spanners, screwdrivers, fucking whatever. And clean up the floor up underneath here. Container full of everything's fallen down over the back from the chickens. And that's tomorrow's work. So today, what I'm going to do now I can see my bench again. I can see it. So I'm going to use my chainsaw sharpener. I'm going to sharpen up the chainsaw blades so that they can go back into parking and resting. So I'll pull this bugger out. There we go, guys. That's how you sharpen a fucking chainsaw. Okay, but first you got to have good chainsaws. So we have the skill chainsaw small one and the skill chainsaw large one. So I'll bolt this onto here and I'm going to give them a sharpen up. I'm not going to show you a video on it. You've seen so many of the bloody things, haven't you? You know, like how hard is it to sharpen a fucking saw, you know, like, you know. All right, I'll go and get the clamps and I'll clamp this down. Right, so this is how easy it is, guys. I used to have this set up at the front, at the little gatehouse at the front there where we have our 5 o'clock drinky poos, and we asked people about the chainsaw guys if they wanted chainsaw sharpening and service, and because we can do I can do a chain within a couple of minutes where they'll sit down. It takes them like 10 minutes to sharpen it up with a file. I can do it in probably about a minute and a half. And they said no, because the angle grinders burn the chain and it makes it soft and it don't last as long. I said, no, we don't use an angle grinder. We use a proper McCoy. The proper McCoy, bitch. And they said, no, we don't like them. I said, okay then. So that idea of sharpening chains up for the chain people didn't come through. Because one, they probably wouldn't want to pay the money. And two, their ignorance is like, oh no, we do it by hand. You know, I've seen that so many times before. I am such and such, I do it my way. So, okay, no problem. So this is how easy it is. You got heaps of adjustments on the bottom here. You got adjustments for the chain here. You got your tilt adjustments. You also have your depth adjustments here so that you don't go past all that stuff. And when you do it, you just start spinning around. Okay. And then this is 120, so I've got to use the voltage regulator. And all it is a matter of gentle. And Bob's your uncle. Uncle Bob! Alright, I'm going to get into this, guys. I'm not going to film it because you've seen it so many times. So there we go, guys. It's that simple to do. Just do one side, and you loosen it off, turn it round, and do the next side. It's that simple. It slides. There's so many adjustments on these. I got the hydraulic one, paid the extra money. And the hydraulic one locks the jaws together. When you actually compress the handle down, it actually locks the jaws in. Where the manual model has a locking key in here where you tighten it up, loosen off, just like a vice, like that. But with this one, it has the hydraulics involved, so that when you push the handle down, that pumps the fluid into here and closes it off. Right, let's put him back together again. Alrighty, dighty, tighty. So this is on. Now remember, when you put your saw away after you're using it, remember to loosen off your nuts, alright, and loosen off your bar tensioner. And they'll take all the pressure off of your sprocket, which is here. Now your sprockets have to get replaced a lot because they do it too tight and they store it where it's not loose. Okay, it's got to be loose, guys. Nice and loose. Look at this, look. Nice and loose. That's how you store it. Then when you're going to start it back up again, you lift the bar up, you adjust the tightness and you tighten up your locking nut. But always store it with a loose chain and a loose bar so that your sprocket isn't getting fucked. How do I know? I've done courses. Of course. Right, so that's our tip of today, guys. Right, guys, so put it all back together again, tighten it all up. So give it to my lovely assistant, Chick Chick. Hello, Chick Chick.
No.
All right, and... So check your oil. If you're going to be using it, check your oil for your chain bar all the time. These are automatic nowadays. There's no pumps. Your fuel, if you're not going to be using it for a while, take the fuel out, drain it out, get rid of it. Because you don't want that two-stroke oil and the fuel that's mixed together, the fuel evaporate and it leaves the oil behind, it comes up your carburetor. I used to have a lot of repairs from those in the shop, from people who left the fuel in through the winter time and they never used it for their mowers, their chainsaws and all those whippersnippers. Always a gummed up carby. So remember, empty your fuel tank, guys. Catch you later. Right guys, so remember, loosen it back off again. Loosen off your chain. You're putting it back into storage, okay? Nice and tight as loosen it off. Yeah, this takes all the tension off of your sprocket here. Now they can go away and it's ready for use next time. It's all sharpened, all cleaned, ready to go. Alright, so this one, guys, this is called the Wood Boss. Like I said, it's from Skill Wood Boss. It's a bloody good saw. For farm use, highly recommend it. It's the 251, alright, and for farm use, it is good. I've cut logs 2 foot thick with this on the tree stumps up the back paddock when Martin was here with us. So it's lightweight, it's not overly heavy, and the 251 is a very, very good saw. Don't stay away from those fucking cheap Chinese ones you see in the hardware stores. You know, Chinese one, fucking Hong Song Dick Sock or something like that. You know, 90cc fucking engine and all that shit. And you're just wasting your money. You're just wasting your money. And if anyone gives it to you, just say thank you very much and use it as a fucking fishing anchor. It'll get better use as a fishing anchor than it would. Always buy good products, guys. And when I was overseas, I asked Chick to get me, I said I want a chainsaw, get me about a 20 inch, 24 inch, something like that, a Skill. And she did, and of course I think the guy in the shop seen her coming. And she got the 382. So this is a bigger, heavier bastard. This one's got a decompression valve on it. You got to push the decompression valve in to start it. And she's a big bastard. But, you know, for professional work and farm work, this one is definitely the ideal go. Is definitely. But my choice between the two, definitely the Wood Boss. Definitely. It's lightweight, it's easy to start, it cuts through bloody I've cut 2 foot thick on this one, so this is my definitely preferred saw. Well, I'm going to sharpen up the chain on this. I've also got a spare chain here as well. I'm going to sharpen those two up together, get that serviceable and put him back into hibernation. Alright, so this is all back together again. Right, so I said, these large one, guys, I used to have trouble starting this fucking thing, I tell you. Used to give me the shits. Bad. Used to give me the shits. I went onto YouTube and I had a look at a video on how to start a chainsaw. Because the smaller ones I never have a problem with. But this big bastard always fucks me around. So, I went onto YouTube, like I said, and this guy says, he says, there we go, Russell. He says, it will always start this way, guys. He said, trust me. He said, this one's never been started, he said, in 3 weeks. And I'll show you how to do it. So what he done, all right, he put it to full choke and he gave it a pull. Then I heard it go clunk, clunk. It's got a decompression on this one here, so to keep your decompression in. Give it a pull and it'll just be nothing. What the fuck? What's this goat? Right guys, so starting these ones a little bit different. These ones have a decompression valve here, so you got to push that one in each time you pull it. Now I had trouble starting this one all the time, and I tell you, I felt like throwing it in the creek many times. But the other model mower, the other model chainsaw, that's very easy to start. Very easy to start. Turn it to choke, give it a pull. If it doesn't work once, turn the choke off, pull it, away she goes. Or maybe the second or third time, no problem. But these ones, larger ones, are a bit of a bitch. So same thing, decompression valve in. Now when you push it, turn it on to full choke and you give it a pull, okay? You got to keep your foot up underneath here. There's a lot of compression on this. You give it a pull. Now, probably won't happen, nothing, and then you'll hear a bit of a bup, bup, then it'll stop. Right, when you hear that, take the choke off, all right? Oh. Take the choke off. Click, right? And then when you pull it, the first time it'll start. Guarantee it. I won't do it now, I'm too fucking tired. Sweating like a pig inside here. So that is the secret to that one there. Decompression valve in, full choke, give it a pull till it goes bup, bup. Turn the choke off, and then when you pull it, it will start straight away. Right, so this one's fully done. I've greased up all the chains, oiled everything up, it's nice done. Now, I've given it a run, so what I'll do now is I'll loosen off the chain again, put the guard back on and put him to bed. And then I'll sharpen up the spare chain. Alright guys, so there you go, that's put away now, so all done. So the chain tools are all serviced, they're all sharp. And all chains have been re-loosened back off again. Like I said, this one here, the 251, highly recommend. The 382 is more of a professional and a heavier bastard, but she still works very good. Chains are all sharpened up. So I'll put a link below on this one here. In the description box below, there'll be a link on this one here, so you can go and have a look and see what the specs are. Remember, this is the hydraulic one. It's more expensive compared to the manual one, but I'll put a link down below in the descriptions and have a look at that.